Hawaiian Airlines proudly presents a special edition of Emmy's Island Moments, Ka'ilila'au's Canoe, a journey of spirit.
I'm feeling some laughter, passion, island moments.
Aloha, I'm Emmy Timimbang. Welcome to Island Moments. You know, in days of old Hawaii, a canoe was the only form of transportation from island to island. Today, canoes are built and constructed for modern-day voyaging like the hokulea, or for educational and historical purposes like the Hawaii loa. And then there's a story of Ka'ilila'au's Canoe, a story which bridges a West Maui family, a hotel and its workers, and a young boy's dream whose wish came true. All that coming up on Ka'ilila'au's Canoe, a journey of spirit.
Ka'ilila'au's Canoe, a journey of spirit, is brought to you in part by Stanford Car Development. Closed captioning is provided by the Caption Company, with support from Ka'anapali Beach Hotel. This portion of Emmy's Island Moments is brought to you by Stanford Car Development.
Long before a Hawaiian canoe takes to the waters, the journey has already begun for those who come to the canoe, whose hands help to build it, to sail it. The canoe experience is a metaphor for life's journey upon uncharted waters and along unpredictable paths. The team effort, the family or canoe ohana, becomes united in strength and purpose, and the result? A bond that forever ties its makers, sailors, and extended family to the modern-day Hawaiian vessel. The canoe which started it all 35 years ago was the hokulea. It's about to embark on a worldwide voyage in 2012, training navigators for tomorrow and securing the future of traditional wayfinding.
We're at a crossroads in voyaging that we have got to grow, we have got to expand, we need to innovate, we need to be creative. And I think that for us who have been here for so long, for 3 decades plus, that innovation needs to come from young people. So we create something of a voyage that would have that kind of magnitude. We mandated this voyage that it's a mandate, not a target. If that 40% of the crew of this voyage coming up, which will be about 200 crew members, has to be under the age of 30. Otherwise, it's not going to go. So this notion of reinventing and recreating ourselves, because the world is changing so fast that if we just continue to do what we used to be, the canoe will become irrelevant.
The hokulea is in dry dock in preparation for this historic voyage 2 years from now.
When she comes out of dry dock next summer, she'll be lighter, stronger, and her performance will be best than it ever been, even the day that she was launched in 1975. And so that's the task of young people, to take it to that kind of level, that kind of high level of excellence.
Just months ago, Thompson's mentor, Maupiailuk, passed away. The legendary master navigator is gone.
More so in his passing do I recognize the importance to do stuff like sail around the world, because it creates huge opportunity to do what Mao instructed us to do. But even more powerful than that, it's not just Mao, it's my father, it's Lacey Beach, it's Eddie Aikau. It's extraordinarily powerful names that have invested, cared, nurtured, supported us through these 35 years of decades of change, and they were there for us. And fundamentally, even though in their passing, profoundly, they're more so today than ever, because we've got to do it ourselves. But if we're going to have to do it ourselves, we're going to have some basis for which we can do our work from. It comes from those teachers.
As we perpetuate their legacies, we must also care for the voyaging canoes on which they sail, like the Hawaii loa, which was built in 1990 and sailed to the Marquesas Islands in 1995. The double-hulled canoe has been in dry dock and in massive reconstruction for 7 years.
The challenge allows us the opportunity to be caring and to malama, Hawaii loa. So again, next year, next summer, we'll launch her again back into the water. And that's going to be a very special day. So we're on track to get her restored, to get her back into educational use in Hawaiian waters. But I hope next summer.
Over the years, many other canoes have become part of the Hawaiian voyaging canoe family, including one special canoe built by a Maui hotel as part of its employees' cultural enrichment program. This is a story of Ka'ilila'au, a canoe which brought together a West Maui family, a young boy's dream, and the staff of the Ka'anapali Beach Hotel.
When the challenge was put forward to build a canoe, it's not an easy thing if you think about it, but we said we can do it. And so one thing leads to another, and doors continue to open.
The project first began with the Ka'anapali Beach Hotel's Po'okela program. Implemented nearly 2 decades ago, Po'okela gives the staff an opportunity to learn about the Hawaiian culture.
A, E, I, O, U, and we have the consonants he, ke, la, mu, nu, pi, ve.
They learn language, cultural practices through music and dance, and even the art of crafting Hawaiian artifacts.
When I translate the word po'okela, it means always constantly improving. Improving what you're doing, improving your service, improving your attitude as what you do here at the hotel.
Assisting with this project is cultural practitioner Ke'eaumoku Kapu, who helped the hotel establish their Makahiki Festival some years ago.
So from like November for the next 4 months, Makahiki plays an important time that has to do with the seasonal change of a harvest season. In traditional history, Makahiki was a time of rest, a time of rejuvenation.
Makahiki at the hotel means that it's a season for us to be able to express ourselves in making things of old Hawaii today. It means involving all of our employees to be able to fashion these items, but in essence, really learning about their capabilities and what they can do besides just doing their regular job.
In the past 3 years of Makahiki, numerous handcrafted artifacts were made by hotel employees. Today, they are exquisitely displayed here.
We do it for the enhancement and the enrichment of our employees, but we also do it because we want them to have that foundation about this place that they live in so that they are better able to provide information and service to our guests.
My passion is to be able to know that we can have our local kids born and raised here of all races, or who have chosen to come to Hawaii to live, that they can feel very proud to be a part of the visitor industry, that they can feel that their way it's not so much as subservient, but as much as sharing what this beautiful place is all about.
I'm almost 3/4 Hawaiian. I was never raised in my own Hawaiian culture. So coming here to Ka'anapali Beach, we do a lot of Hawaiian programs, and the hotel even pays the employees to learn about our culture.
Lani Nishihara, an assistant cook, searched for a specific rock and carved this ancient Hawaiian tool known as a ko'i, or stone adze.
As I was grinding stone, I realized how much pride my ancestors had in doing this, because they were masters at this, and they put their whole heart and soul into it and made beautiful beautiful tools.
You know, when you focus on the values of the culture, you're focusing on values such as hard work, fairness, honesty, integrity, and family, and cooperations, ho'okipa. So when we talk about these values, they apply to the employees' work life, their home life, and their life in the community. And it all comes back to an offering to our visitors that touches all those same things.
From feathered kahilis to stone ads, now the hotel's 300 employees were given the ultimate challenge to construct a Hawaiian sailing canoe.
I tried to talk them out of it because I knew that it's going to be a massive thing to do, but they wanted to go ahead and do it.
Employees were inspired to take on the challenge, and fate led them to this particular tree, to this family, and to the journey of spirit that was about to begin.
I think this tree wanted to be a canoe. We just heard this story about their son, and they wanted to name the canoe after him, so I think it's going to give it a lot of special meaning.
Thus the beginning of Ka'ilila'au's canoe coming to life. That story when we return.
Ka'ilila'au's Canoe, A Journey of Spirit, is presented by Hawaiian Airlines. Hawaii flies with us.
The journey of Ka'ilila'au's canoe takes us to the west side of Maui, known for its breathtaking and scenic landscape. 3 miles inland, deep into Honokohau Valley, amidst rough and rugged unpaved roads, you'll find lush tropical terrain. This is where the subject of our story, Ka'ilila'au, was born, and the birth of his canoe will take place. We're here in a remote West Maui Valley, where the story of Ka'ilila'au's canoe begins. In early November of 2009, Ka'anapali Beach Hotel employees traveled to this remote area to find a tree for their canoe project. Serendipity would lead them to Honokohau Valley, to the Lindsay family, and to this specific tree. What evolved next was an amazing and heartwarming story of a young boy and his dream canoe.
We met with both husband and wife, and they told us, do you know that this tree, we had many, many trees on our property, but for whatever reason, we kept this one tree. And our son, who had unfortunately passed away at the age of 11, but before he passed away, he put his hand on the tree and said, Dad, do you think someday we can make a canoe from this tree?
You know, when my son had told him that, he wanted his dad to build this canoe. And I told him, I said, we'll leave the tree, because one day someone's gonna come and they're gonna ask for it. And when they do come, they will be the right ones to take it.
And you didn't ask for money?
No, I didn't ask for anything. I gave it with my heart,
What was the one thing you asked?
That the canoe be named after my son.
His name is?
Ka'ilila'au.
So he said, our coming over to ask permission for the tree is like a prophecy come true from his son.
The 100-foot-tall albizia tree stood strong and sturdy in the lush valley. Canoe builder Charlie Noland already saw a canoe in the making.
It's the right length, it's straight, it's the right diameter, and we're not going to end up wasting a lot of extra wood. It's just the right size. So.
A brief prayer was offered to embrace nature's gift, which now becomes another gift, a voyaging canoe. Dressed in kihei, or traditional Hawaiian attire, hotel staff participated in a traditional Hawaiian protocol ceremony led by chanter Kapono'ai Molitau.
The prayers and chants that literally were done was giving acknowledgement to the place and asking permission from the kupuna. And the kupuna is not only this Wahipana Ponokau, but the kupuna also lives within the la'au, within the tree, to ask some permission that we can cut you and take from you.
A blessing was also given for the albizia tree to begin its own journey from once a living tree to its new incarnation as a voyaging vessel. Kimo Lindsay, Ka'ilila'au's father, made the tree's first cutting. An offering of a gift, or ho'okupu, a basket filled with food and household goods, was presented to the Lindsay family. Hotel employees and the Lindsays were now bonded as a family, or ohana. It was now time for the canoe to begin its own journey. Canoe builder Charlie Noland began to carve away at the tree's base to begin the tree felling process. Cables were attached to the tree to harness it and secure its fall. Luckily, the tree was already leaning in the right direction.
This is probably one of the easiest locations I've ever had to cut. It's right alongside the road, nice and level spot to work, and easy to load.
Like clockwork, after a final look over, the tree felling moment began. After cutting and cleaning the tree's branches and excess foliage, the bark of the tree is peeled and shaved.
This bark has a tendency to gum up your saw blades too, so good to get it off.
The cracks once you put them back.
Yeah. Perfect. Perfect.
A crack in the log initially discovered is patched.
Usually when you make the back of the canoe out of the base and the front is narrower, but we tried to work around the crack, and we still ended up having a crack in the canoe, and then we ended up using an Alaska mill and cutting a slot, and then we patched it with a piece of wood and epoxy.
Canoe builders will now trim the log for the hull, the aft and fore of the canoe. Then a chainsaw rigged with an Alaskan mill begins its part of the canoe making process. Hotel General Manager Mike White has been a part of each step of the log's rebirth. He asks the canoe builder to leave the final hulling of the log for his hotel employees to complete. Hotel worker Hanalei Peters takes over with his backhoe, laying the log gently onto the truck for transport.
Now that we got ka'ilila'au on the top of this flatbed truck. What we're doing is we're taking the rest of the planks because we're going to be using these for the rails and for the manu's and everything else that we need for the Hawaii.
Leimali and her younger son Bubba look on as the log leaves its home for a new life outside the valley. The 32-foot log has now completed this part of its unique journey. Hotel staff and guests offer it a warm welcome. The log, made from an albizia tree, begins the next stage of its new life, not with experienced canoe craftsmen, but with dedicated hotel employees. Ka'ilila'au the canoe is about to be born.
Ka'ilila'au's Canoe, A Journey of Spirit, is brought to you by Stanford Car Development.
Ka'anapali Beach Hotel's makahiki season begins in November. Members of the hotel staff from each department participate in a traditional Hawaiian ceremony. They bring gifts or ho'okupu to the chief, as in days of old Hawaii, to signify sharing their crop, livestock, or fish during harvest.
This is a time that we're allowed as employees and Kanaka Maoli Hawaii, Native Hawaiians, to be able to draw our or call upon our Hawaiian practitioners in our Hawaiian community, like Ke'el Moku Kapu and Kapono Ai Moli Tau, Uncle Sam Ka'ai. And this hotel allows us to come together and to celebrate the things that are Hawaiian. But this is our kamakani.
We were asked to bring ho'okupu that would be for a long journey on a canoe. So I thought what best to bring a moa, because already our moa had hatched. We have an egg since she's been here. And this moa is a ho'okupu, a gift comes from the valley of Honokahau, from the ohana there, much mahalo. and this is where our log also came from, so aloha.
As part of the hotel's cultural enrichment program, employees will transform this log into a Hawaiian voyaging vessel.
Well, when this idea of the canoe came up, I think we all really gulped hard because it's a huge amount of work. In this kind of economy, we've chosen not to sit back and say, well, our occupancies are not as great. We've chosen to continue our voyage of discovery, continue focusing on the very cultural aspects of what we do that have made us the success that we are.
Hotel employees formally accept the challenge of building the four-man canoe within the 4 months of the makahiki season.
This is our ohana from Honokohara Valley, and this is the Lindsay ohana.
The Lindsay family, who donated the tree from which this log was carved, welcomes a new member to their ohana, Ka'ilila'au, the canoe.
As it continues to be shaped and formed. And we, as Kanaka, we all believe that we become physical manifestations of our kupuna in the next life. So interesting enough, Ka'ilila'au will one day be born again in this wahi of Kanaloa. We thank you for the opportunity.
And now the work begins for the enthusiastic hotel employees. Most of them have never sailed a canoe, let alone built one.
So when Mr. White said, okay, we're going to do the canoe, we're going to build a va'a. So I was thinking, oh, well, maybe just one department, like the food and beverage department. He said, no, the whole hotel. So I said to myself, how am I going to get 300 employees to participate and run the hotel at the same time?
But they did, even though some workers were hesitant at first.
So the first thing we do is we tell them a little bit about the tree, where it came from, the family that gave it to us, and they seem to settle back. Once we get them on the tools and we start working with them, we train them, safety first, and then everybody pretty much seems to fall in line.
Employees were given 2 hours with pay during their regular workday to learn the art of canoe building.
Well, we've all scheduled times where we can help work with the canoe, but really what it really did was help us get to know each other a lot better. Not only the waiter, the front of the house people was included, other people started coming from the bar, and so it really was a camaraderie. We really felt like a family.
Canoe builder Charlie Noland supervised hotel staff each step of the way, from carving, hulling, to sanding and molding the log into a canoe.
We try not to use any metal fasteners, and everything's lashed with ropes. Traditionally, it was sennit, handmade, out of coconut fibers or possibly hau or olana. Nowadays, we have a lot of modern ropes, and we use those, but we try to use the same traditional techniques. This side of the hole, that side of the hole. All the parts, the major parts of the canoe are, tied together, and it actually allows for some movement. If it was too rigid when you were sailing, you'd actually probably break apart. Eventually, you'd get, wear and fatigue would cause stresses and cracks if you tried to make something too stiff. And lashing allows for some play.
Noland has worked with numerous master canoe builders and makers since he arrived in 1997 from his place of birth, Kentucky. His mom, who was born and raised on Maui, is of Hawaiian ancestry. She is proud to see her son connect with his island roots.
I think making canoes is Charlie's favorite thing to do. He does many things, but I think the canoe is really the closest to his heart.
Noland also feels a deep appreciation for his novice canoe builders.
Very impressed, and they took a lot of pride in what they were doing, and they were glad to be there, and it was I'd do it all over again.
At first, he was nervous about the women handling the power tools.
I was a little worried about the housekeeping staff. I wasn't sure, but when we got to that point, it was all a lot of hand sanding and fairing, and they actually took to it a lot better than the men.
Yes, women like Florita Sumibkai. Florita came from the Philippines and has been with the hotel's housekeeping department since 1989. When you came to Hawaii, though, and particularly when you came to this hotel, you didn't know too much about the Hawaiian culture.
No. Even though I lived here for so long, I didn't. Till we started Po'okela, I started going to the classes. Oh, I really look forward to it. Because it's so many things that I never knew it exists, and it's there, and it's so much things that I learned that I tell my kids about it. Now we're doing the canoe. I never sand before in my life. Oh, we just love it, and I use the electric sanders. It's good. The canoe is so hard to make, I didn't know that. It takes a long time, and I'm looking forward to be finished, so I want to try to ride it.
Michelle Raphael had a unique assignment.
I did encrypt it or engrave the name of Ka'ili Lakau of the Canoe, and that was was very great for me to by engraving the name.
Have you ever done that before?
Actually, this was my first time, and I did great.
Arthur Pa'ahana, a 40-year employee with Ka'anapali Beach Hotel, felt the canoe project was the highlight of his career. Pa'ahana says hotel visitors have also enjoyed watching the canoe project unfold.
We've been having good response while working on the canoe, and they'll come by and they'll take pictures, and it's like, wow, when will I get able to ride this canoe? So it'll be exciting to see once it's out in the water.
For me and for the Ka'anapali Beach Hotel, we do this because your visitors have changed. They want that Hawaiian experience called aloha, the aloha-ness that we have for this hotel, is to provide people with a chance, a venue, an avenue to feel the Hawaiian culture and to be a part of it, to embrace it. They come year after year just for the experience. So our job is to keep them Hawaiianized.
So this year when we're making a canoe, it's not going to be set up as a display or an artifact. Our intent is really to make it and set it at the beach so that our employees can enjoy it, our guests on their own if they want to be able to enjoy and get the feeling of what it's like to sail on a Hawaiian canoe.
Today, we are at this hale, and this hale is going to have a child. People call it a hotel, but its ano is very different. Its essence is very different.
When I look at what we've done here, the investment that we've made in our cultural programs is probably the most important investment that we've made. To add to that investment a focus on culture and the host culture, and an investment that pays back not only to the employees, because they learn values, they learn the history.
Ka'ili La'au the canoe is slowly but elegantly taking shape. Coming up, we learn more about Ka'ili La'au the boy and his family, who live modestly without electricity and running water, but whose lives are enriched nonetheless.
Ka'ili La'au's Canoe, A Journey of Spirit, is presented by Hawaiian Airlines. Hawaii flies with us.
On any given school day, you'll find the older 6 children of Kimo and Laimaili Lindsay getting off a school bus at the entrance of Honokohau Valley. The bus stop is also where Valley residents sell fresh fruits and vegetables from their farms.
Island Moments.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Mahalo.
On the day of our visit, it was raining. Ordinarily, the kids would make the 2-mile hike home. We offered them a ride. For Ka'anapali Beach staffers, that meant driving into the valley along unpredictable, unpaved, winding roads. It happened to be the birthday of the eldest daughter, Kolea, so we surprised her with a birthday cake.
Here we were, in the rain, under the shade of the Jeep umbrella, balloons, cake, and everything was perhaps not the perfect setting for a birthday, but we were laughing. We were having a good time. We knew that there was fun and camaraderie and the love for each other, and who cares that it was raining.
Koya was so happy because she didn't expect anyone, especially you folks, coming up there. And we had told her, we ran out of food stamps this week, so we have to wait till Friday till we get our food stamps so we can get you your cake. So not expecting anyone to bring anything and give her anything, that was like, it made her day.
Kimo and Lemaili Lindsay and their 7 children live off the land in this remote forest farm-like area.
We live day by day, so we could earn money every day, which is off of our fruits. Our farm, our taro farm, we make poi. We have avocados, we have oranges, with squash. We're growing pumpkin right now, but we take our fruits and we sell them, and that's how we make our money.
For Kimo, much of his work revolves around the family taro farm. And the poi, I must say, is the best I've ever had. Living with catch water from the rain and a generator to power their limited appliances, the Lindsays live a simple and extremely modest lifestyle.
Yeah, I guess would be real hard for everybody else, I think. A lot of people, they would come up, family would come, how you live like this? And they can't understand. And us, we laugh because we remember growing up, our tutu house, all the kids on the floor sleeping together, and that's how, it was, and was no problem,
All the Lindsay children have lived in the valley since they were born. Their eldest son, Ka'ili La'au, was born in 1991. He died 7 years ago. Kapono, 15, is now the eldest son. Kolea is 11. Their twins, Ka'ai-Ohelo and Kawai-Ola, are 10 years old. Lokilani is 8. Le'avapuhi is 6. And her baby brother Kekuhi, or Baba, is 5 years old. Simple daily chores for their mom, Lemaili, include doing the family laundry.
I've been washing clothes by hand for 12 years, by hand. We fill up the bucket with water, throw all the laundry in, put soap in it, and I just scrub.
No dryer.
No, and I hang my clothes.
The Lindsay children have adapted well to this rural lifestyle. They've learned to eat and study by sunlight, candles, or lamps powered by a generator. When it's playtime, the youngsters have the entire valley as a playground, including their favorite swimming pool, a fresh water pond. And what did you do with the rocks?
We moved them out. We moved them out. We made a wall so the water doesn't go out, and we can make it deeper.
This was also Ka'ili La'au, their eldest brother's favorite spot before he died. Ka'ili La'au's nickname was Sunny.
Sunny's Rock.
And why is it Sunny, your brother, Sunny's Rock?
Yeah, because used to jump off of it. Yeah, and the pond used to be very, very deep. It used to be really deep because my brother used to go up by the trees and jump right off.
So do you feel him still around? Is he still around?
He's always around.
Really?
No matter what. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because he always comes to visit us with his rainbow.
Our life is real simple. And basically, we feel they have more than others because they can learn to appreciate what they have, because you'll never find anything like it nowhere else, And the way we live we think is real simple, even though it's hard.
Ka'anapali Beach Hotel employees often collect toys and clothing for the children. On our visit, we brought some books and dress-up clothing for them too.
Sometimes they envy what other kids have, and they always come home and they say, oh, they want this new toy or this new game that they saw someone with. So we tell them, well, maybe, if we do have the money, then maybe we can. If you can earn it, which would mean helping me around the yard, raking all the leaves, you know, doing the normal chores.
Yeah,
You know, they're very bright, you know, but we try to teach them and give them of what we know, how to live both ways. That's why we send them to school, you know, and school really helps them a lot because they can, you know, be with other kids and know what is out here than from where we're at home. You know, there's a lot of different ways how people live.
The Lindsays lost their oldest son, Ka'ilila'au, when he was 11. He died in an accidental fall in the valley 7 years ago.
He was like the perfect child. I mean, he was the brown-skinned Hawaiian. He could do it all. He had skills. He was the king, smart, hard worker, polite. Everybody who knew him, you know, he's like a light. You know, he's beautiful. He was a sun. His nickname was Sunny. So, you know, we struggled through the loss, but we still get family, and our family you know, we had to get through all of that.
So when Ka'anapali Beach Hotel launched their canoe project, destiny would bring them to Honokohau Valley and to Ka'ilila'au's favorite tree and his lifelong wish.
I feel everything is right. It's all right, and everything is good, and I feel good. I feel happy about it because this is what I know my son would have wanted.
And on the day before Ka'ilila'au, the canoe took to the waters, the Lindsays enjoyed the luxury of staying at a hotel. The children were ecstatic to see their hotel rooms. For the Lindsay kids, simple pleasures made for a magical experience.
So we had 2 bedrooms and get bedrooms, and these guys, adjacent doors are open, and now they're running around, going inside through the hallway, coming back around, and just having a ball because they kept running in a circle, and the brother couldn't catch them. So he kept opening the door, running outside, and running through the rooms, coming back and just having a ball.
You gotta pull this up for this to come on. Yeah.
Oh, the girls was, oh yeah, we get to bathe hot water, because we bathe cold water every day.
Every day we bathe cold water.
Their favorite items? Not one, but several giant beds. And a television set with multiple channels to choose from. After settling in for a family dinner, the Lindsay Ohana reflect on why they are here. Tomorrow, they will see Ka'ilila'au and his canoe begin their journey home. On a beautiful Maui morning, the ocean was calm and shimmering. It was a perfect day for Ka'ilila'au, the canoe, to sail its maiden voyage.
We can go to either one. Go to the top, it's okay.
An original crew member of the Hokulea helps to prepare Ka'ilila'au for its official journey to sea.
The employees did a good job, you know. The way it looks, wow, you cannot beat. It's good to have everybody hands on the canoe, because to me, if you get more people helping out, you get more mana, you know, on the canoe, yeah?
The canoe was named after Ka'ilila'au Lindsay, who would have been a senior at Lahaina Luna High School. His teacher brought this portrait to the day's events.
Ka'ilila'au was a 5th grader at our school, and he was the king of our Métis court. So this picture was actually taken right before the students went out on Front Street. And Ka'ilila'au had such a spirit, and he was so excited before he went out, and so he had a habit of rubbing his hands together, and he just said a little prayer right before he went out on the parade.
It's been 4 months since the Ka'anapali Beach Hotel's canoe project bearing Ka'ilila'au's name began. Today, a symbolic Hawaiian ceremony heralds the new life and the launching of Ka'ilila'au, the canoe.
I know that spiritually, physically, mentally, physically that his family is a representation of him, And spiritually, he's all around. He's a part of the canoe. From when we did the cutting of the logs ceremony up in Honokohau, that we knew that he was there. He was present, and he's still here, and now he's complete. His world with the afterlife is complete.
I'd like to thank everybody, especially all the KBH workers and Mr. White. This picture was given to us, and it's actually meant for you guys. And we'd like you to keep this in the hotel if you don't mind. This is Kaili La'au.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you to all of you leaders in our hotel and our konohiki, reminding our kamakani and making it work too, collectively. And that's why we, at Ka'anapali Beach Hotel, we truly believe in our Hawaiian values. And we try our best to live by them.
Hotel employees, guests, family, and friends wait for the significant part of Ka'ili La'au's journey. Then Ka'ili La'au, the canoe, was carried to the shore and glided gracefully into the sea. Ka'ili La'au's canoe builders witnessed the formal launch with overwhelming joy and pride.
It's nice to be like the person leading the way, and it's nice to teach people what I've learned, because I've learned from a lot of great people, and you got to pass it on.
I just felt this overwhelming sense of joy and pride, because after all the months and months of working and trying to organize and trying to make sure everything gets done, I felt like a proud mama.
The canoe looks so nice. You know, sometimes to me the canoe is $1 million canoe. To me, you know, it's a canoe, but you know, you want to put them in a museum and just live there, but yet the canoe is to go in the ocean.
There's a lot of symbolism in the construction of that canoe, because it shows not only that our employees can come together to do their normal work, but they can come together and do a project that they can all believe in, feel a part of, and grow from. You know, to see the faces of the family was just so heartwarming, because you know for them, their son truly lives within that canoe.
Hotel visitors were touched by the traditional festivities.
I love Hawaii, I love everything about it, and this is part of it. This is a true ceremony. It's not like it's put on stage. This was real.
It's amazing how the Hawaiians are so proud of their culture, and it makes you want to learn more about it. And this isn't tourist, this is the real thing. This is why we come to Kaanapali Beach, because it's the real Hawaiian thing.
4 months after Ka'ili La'au's successful maiden sea trial, more somber ceremonies were held. Today, Ka'ili La'au Lindsay's ashes will set sail on board his dream and namesake canoe. This time, it's a journey to his final resting place.
Well, kind of feel sad because he's gonna be leaving, but also happy because he's gonna move on with his life.
Well, today is a very special day for me and my family. We're gonna finally be able to set my brother free. He's gonna go back to the Aina, and now this canoe behind me, which is gonna be in his memory, is finally gonna be able to have the spirit with him.
I feel great. It's been 7 years, and it's time to let him go. And, we're so happy to be here because we've waited so long, and now he may take his journey. Just thank you for all your support, and I'm just so happy that it's finally, it's time, and, I'm so happy to share it with everyone. Aloha, Sonny. We love you.
Mahalo nui to Ka'anapali Beach Hotel for taking the opportunity to carve out ka hoi wa'a. As we understand the hoi wa'a and the symbolisms behind that, Hoiwa'a is an ability for us to travel, for us to continue to seek for more knowledge. So thus this beautiful Hoiwa'a to continue to travel in uncharted territories, to continue to seek more knowledge, to continue to pai ohana.
This is not the end, it's the beginning. So, Kaililao is never going to be forgotten. And we'd like to thank KBH and all the workers for all the work they did and helping our ohana get to this point. I know it's been a lot of work and something that we know we wanted to do but never could do ourselves, so this is really special.
It was a sad but joyous moment as the Canoe Ohana bid a final farewell to the young boy whose spirit connected many hands and hearts.
Makekaya kanaloa Hawaii. I lilo I keia kino lau o kawa'a.
I had this dream that someone will come one day to ask for the tree, and they would be the right people to build this canoe that he had envisioned in his mind. And that day came. And that was just the first part of that dream. So now we're going to send him off in his dream canoe, and he can start his journey.
What began as Ka'anapali Beach Hotel's commitment to preserving our cultural traditions blossomed into a most treasured experience for all.
This journey has really allowed our employees to really be proud of what they've done. They see Ka'ilila'au settled on our property in the courtyard, and when they walk by, they really feel like they had something to do with it. You know, they really feel proud. And I think what's most important too is they may not be Hawaiian in blood, but really truly down deep inside, they're really Hawaiian in spirit.
The outpouring of love and labor brought forth the birth of a canoe, and for one hotel, a mission to sustain our island heritage.
They would take the time and the energy to create opportunities for their employees to be enriching, to have them grow, to build their cultural identity, to be able to have a better sense of this dirt, this aina, this land that this culture comes from. And I've always seen that as how they, at the core of their beliefs, is an investment in making the hotel it best can be for those it serves.
It's not only spiritual, but it is culturally grounded too at the same time, knowing that this boy wanted this one day to transform this log into a canoe. And you know, the sad part is that he wasn't able to be here to see that accomplished, but even more, it brings a lot of the communities statewide together to understand the concept as to why it is important that we be perpetuating the things that we do, because we bring those kinds of values back today.
In the canoe community, there are the builders and the sailors and its family support group. Every hand who has touched the canoe, whether it's the Hokulea, the Hawaii Loa, or Ka'ilila'au's canoe, everyone's life has been transformed. The canoe experience is a journey of hope, the journey of rediscovery, and ultimately, the journey of spirit.
You're a gift to this place. Yes, I do believe you're in a better place.
Ka'ilila'au's Canoe, A Journey of Spirit, has been presented by Hawaiian Airlines and brought to you in part by Stanford Car Development. Closed captioning was provided by the Caption Company with support from Ka'anapali Beach Hotel. You can reach us at emmyinc@hawaii.rr.com or visit our website at emmyinc.com.